Oh boy, it looks like. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Um, is Joe Biden in Ireland already? Hello, Shelly L. Thank you so much for being first today. Hi, Fancy Fancy. Hold on a second, you guys. Let me see. Yes, they're streaming live. Um, Joe Biden's arrival to Northern Ireland. Very cool. Let me see. Journey to Joe Biden's Irish ancestors. Okay. Huh. All right. Very, very cool. Looking forward to this. Although I'm kind of disappointed because Joe Biden has accepted an invitation from Charles III to have a state visit. So, oh man, I was hoping that he wouldn't, but that looks like that is going to happen. May as well. Um, oh man. Okay, so let me open up another channel so I can see what you guys are seeing as per usual. We open up another channel, see what you guys are seeing. Okay, heard a little echo there, right? Okay. All right. And slides are up and we're good. Okay. That was more than a pregnant pause, right? That was a very pregnant pause. 1 second, you guys. All right, so I'm just gonna Connie Bomber. Hey, Connie Bomber. I'm just gonna scroll through and make sure there's no super chats, no super stickers, no milestones of membership. Yeah, I know Annie Bullard is going to raise Charles's profile, and I wasn't looking forward to that at all. But sometimes these things cannot be helped, and so it is a matter of diplomacy and decorum, and oh man, well, maybe Biden will serve some of that. I'm sorry, not Biden, but maybe Charles will serve Biden some of that coronation chicken. You guys have heard of the coronation chicken before, right? Coronation chicken is very tender. I mean, there's no fight back to it. I mean, when you go to bite into it, when you bite into that coronation chicken, it yields right away to your bite. As a matter of fact, coronation chicken has been known to run right off the plate. That's coronation chicken. Um, they actually served it on Maundy Day. Yes, they had coronation chicken on Maundy Day. And let me see.
Not my king!
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 Charles, why are you wasting our money in your pointless parade?
Not my king!
Not my king!
Not my king!
Come on, Charles! Is that what they call coronation chicken? A king who runs away?
Coronation chicken jokes there.
I like the guy in the background, the one that's like coronation chicken. Leg says the visit might hurt Biden because of the election. The election here, or is there an election in Northern Ireland? Which election are you speaking of? I'm not sure which one, but I tell you what, when those two heads of state meet, only one of them is actually an elected figure. The other one is just a big juicy piece of, actually not juicy, leathery, but yet tender piece of coronation chicken. Not my king, not my king. Anyway, thank you so much, Legs, for the super chat. The very first one of the day. Thank you very much. And I will say hello to everyone as we go along. Lydia Washington is here, right? V. Bram, educate you too. Very cool. Sharon Jones. Nice, nice, nice. Very good. Annie Bullard wants to say hi to a few people. There you go. And what else we got? All right. So, you know, I was, and by the way, to the hi Midwife K, to the amazing member of the Mod Squad that removed this from the comments yesterday. Thank you very much. And to the hater, the hate listener out there who posted this, may you have the nastiest, bitter, most tasting piece of coronation chicken on May the 6th. They said, and I quote, "This is just a dumb American bloke posting on things he knows nothing about for all the other dumb Yanks. Tell us how you really feel." Well, they do have a way to rid the channel of such nasty pestilence. Let me see. Keeps idiots and buttholes away for up to 4 hours. Yeah, so that's perfect. That is perfect. That is perfect. So yes, enjoy your spray, troll. And of course, I permanently blocked that person. I tell you, the nerves. That's all I can say is the nerves. Well, you know, and as I'm inundated by royal reporters working for the Daily Fail that write, do you guys know that there is a bunch of reporters that are not just royal reporters, but there is a lot of royalist reporters that write in everyday newspapers and magazines, and of course the online links. They write for those every day. And I remember when I looked into one who said something very disparaging about the Sussexes. Turns out they had to have an organ transplant. Oh, they had a rough time of it. That's what they get for putting Harry and Meghan's name in their mouth. And then I saw a picture of that poor person in a hospital bed. Then I saw some post where their dog had died. And I'm just like, wow, having a rough time, are we? You know, and of course, I'm not making fun of that person's situation, but you would think that someone suffering from so many maladies and bouts of bad luck would be a nicer person, but no, they want to sit up there and freestyle on Harry and Meghan. So I can't say that I feel a great deal of sympathy, Eamon Holmes. JB says, hi, everyone, and thanks for coming on early tonight, Baron. Getting too old for the late nights. Heard another podcaster bigging you up today and totally agree with her that you do make us laugh. Oh, well, thank you, JB. Thank you for saying that. I try to make it fun and yet informative. I think that's the best recipe. And I'm glad it works for you. Definitely glad it works for you. So, as you know, yesterday, this had only just came out before I went on, and it's about Harry being the sacrificial prince. Now, when the Falkland Island War happened, I do recall that the Queen was very adamant, at least that's what they said, that she wanted her so-called favorite son, Andrew, to go to the Falkland Islands. And if the worst happens, oh well, at least he's done his duty, just like Lord Nelson. Oh, wait a minute. Did I just mention something about British history with authority as though I know a little bit? Anyway, I digress. But if you guys run into this troll, please make sure that troll know that I know a little bit about British history, just a little. Um, but poor Lord Nelson with that one arm and one eye, and he certainly did sacrifice for king and country, didn't he? Anyway, so um, they were saying that at least the thing is, you guys, it's just amazing that Robert Jobson's book is supposed to be about Charles. And I'll talk about more of that soon. But it's amazing how everything always it seems to be about Harry and Meghan. Everything. They can't have anything without adding the Sussexes to it. But of course, they know what sells. But I feel like a lot of this is propaganda. So Prince Harry risk of death in war acceptable, but Williams deemed too great by Queen. General Sir Mike Jackson told how the Queen wanted both her grandsons to serve in the armed forces, but felt that only Harry could be allowed to fight. So that the Queen actually feel that way. I mean, if you're going up in helicopters, if you're going through maneuvers, if you're doing anything where there's live ammunition or inclement weather, then you're taking a toll. I mean, not taking a toll, but you're taking a risk. So, what were they going to do? Wrap him up in bubble wrap and just, put him in the menagerie collection or something like that? I mean, there's no way around it. But then that's why you have a line of succession just in case the worst happens. And so, are we men or are we mice? If it was good enough for Harry to go, it was definitely good enough for him to go. And so I'm leaning toward the Queen was okay with it. She didn't seem to back down from the idea of someone serving. Now, of course, having said all of that, Prince Philip had to give up the Navy so that he can be a good consort to his wife. So there is that history. And of course, they said that Philip was lining up some good promotions for himself and that he was going to go far in the Navy. But then, of course, they had to pull back. Now, Charles, of course, let me see. I believe Philip, Charles, both know how to fly planes, right? Or knew how to fly planes. Even the Duke of Windsor had a pilot's license. He may have been the first royal to fly, or was he the first royal to fly solo? And then, of course, there was what about the one that died in the plane crash? The one that was living in Japan, and he did not like being a prince. Was his name William? I can't remember his name, but he also could fly. And then, of course, you have William, to be fair, and Harry, to be sure. Both of them have pilot's licenses to fly helicopters. So when you consider all of that, I mean, they weren't flying 747s, and so their lives were not without risk. You know what I'm saying? So going to war for William would have just been another risk, I believe. So there you go. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I feel like they're trying to revise history. They're trying to, I guess, downplay Harry's war experience, his two terms of duty to make it seem like William would have gone if allowed. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like jealousy is so crass. By the way, you guys, Lydia has just posted. Now I believe, what is that one? Sussex Royal Court. Oh, which one was first? Oh, there it is. You guys, Sussex Royal Course is so close to making that nice round number of 1,000 subscribers. You guys don't know what that do to a content creator when they get that 1,000. But if there's anything that you can do with that link that is posted to help, please do, because we're out here in these streets, whether it's the YouTube streets, the Twitter streets, whatever streets, we're out here fighting the good fight for the Sussex Squad, for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and for like-minded people everywhere. People who share our values, like I would say just about anyone who has been treated unfairly, especially when racism has played part in it. You guys know we call them out. So if you guys could please make sure you support these Sussex friendly spaces, because it's a lot of work. Let me see where they are right now. They're not even that far, you guys. They're not even that far from that number. So I'm looking at it right now, and I would love to see that number grow while we're on here. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. Uh-oh, I just saw one. Come on, you guys, you can do this. Let's make this happen. Make it rain, right? And who knows? Maybe my alter ego, before Royal Sussex, I used to subsidize my income on the stage as a male exotic dancer. So who knows? Maybe if we get to that number while I'm on, we'll see what happens. Matter of fact, I will go and get the baby oil and keep it close. Chocolate Thunder for your considerations, ladies and gentlemen. Chocolate Thunder. Okay, so remember, the link is at the top of the chat. Do make sure you go over and support that Sussex friendly channel. Let me see here. Okay, I've only seen one since I've been sitting here. One more? Can we do one more before I go on? The link is at the top of the chat. Let me see here. What did I just see out the corner of my eye? Thank you again, Lex. And I'm going to continue here. So what is your theories about this situation with Harry and William, and this talk of his of the Queen wanting them both? Oh, wow. All right. I just refreshed the page. You guys are doing this. I love it. Thank you so much. Let me see. Oh, Nancy Herlock. I love when they say stuff like that. I actually get a kick out of it. I think it's funny. And trust me, you have to have a thick skin to be in this space. But yeah, it's okay. That's why I'm sharing it with you guys. If it really bothered me, I would probably have just kept it to myself. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me scroll down. Oh, there we go. Dana Dane, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you so much for being here on Royal Sussex. And happy Tuesday to you. By the way, love those tigers. Tigers are just gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous. I think all the big cats are so cool, but pound per square inch, the panthers, the pumas, No, the Panthers and the Leopards. I think they're both in the same. Like they're both the same, really. Even the Panthers, even though they seem like they're all black, they do have spots if you look at them close enough. And the big cats are so muscular. I mean, they're so athletic. It's amazing to watch them. Thanks for sharing that. It just kind of took me away from this space for a split second, and I enjoyed it. Okay, so let me continue. I'm going to go and take a look over there. Wow, you guys are doing this. So just about 200 more, and we're there. We're there. Another Sussex friendly channel that is over 1K. Thank you so much, you guys. I really, really do appreciate that. As a matter of fact, all of us, on behalf of all the squad, thank you so much for that. Okay. All right. Let me move on to the next slide here. So the mirror says war was too great a risk for William, but not Harry. And then over here, the fail says the Queen sent Prince Harry to war in Afghanistan, but shielded William from fighting Taliban after deciding the risk to future king was too great. Ex-army chief reveals in breach of protocol. So was it a breach of, you know what, I didn't read the article, but was it a breach of protocol that he mentioned that? Because it sounds kind of weird that as though the Queen didn't realize that there would be a risk. I think the idea that both Harry and William would have gone to battle would have bolstered the image of the royal family for decades to come, right? Or should I say, for the next 100 years, really. And I believe that the temptation of that would have been so great that the Queen would not want to let that get by. I mean, after all, her favorite son, Andrew and Edward, the non-binary prince, either one of them, if the worst would have happened, could have someday, have taken the throne. So I just think it was a lot. Otherwise, why would the Queen even consider something like that? Now, either the Queen never considered it and they're just trying to revise the history to make William look good, or perhaps the Queen did want both of them to go, and someone talked her out of the William part of it. Like, I don't know, William? If I had to guess, who would have talked the Queen out of sending William into battle? I would say most likely it would have been William. Let me see. What? Oh my goodness. Are we there? Wow, you guys. I'm looking. Is that right? Is it really 1K? That was fast. Come on, squad. You guys are awesome. That is so cool. I'm looking and I'm just like, wait, what? That was like fast. I am just in awe of the Sussex squad. You guys are amazing. I love the way this community comes together. And by the way, that's no reason for anyone who has not gone over there to not go. But I am just amazed. Thank you all so much. And this is why the squad is so, so phenomenal. So I guess with that, I hope I'm looking. Yeah, I think that's right. So you know who we have to bring on, don't you? You guys know who's next, don't you? Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Girl, the Duchess of Sussex won. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Nelly's going to be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. As you know, I'm over here getting down, y'all. I am over here getting down. That is so cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. That will go a long way, I promise you. And Teresa McDougall says, Baron, now that the spare has moved on to Montecito, who's the spare now? Just asking for a friend. Well, the next, you know what? Yeah, because Teresa, I'm glad you said that, because technically, there's the heir and the spare until the heir starts producing children, right? Well, so Harry was no longer that kind of a spare, but the other way that he was a spare was, as Ivy has mentioned so many times, the whipping boy, the flunky, the patsy. Those are my words, not Ivy's. But Ivy used the term the whipping boy. And yes, just as sure as sugar is sweet, Harry was destined to stay in the role of the spare, just like Princess Margaret. Andrew never was really as much, oh gosh, how do I put this? I don't know that Andrew suffered the same type of, like, I mean, he was considered wild. Don't get me wrong about that. But it doesn't seem like it impacted him as terrible as someone like a Margaret, who by all accounts was not the nicest person anyway. And of course, Harry, who seemed to get the absolute worst spare experience because of the loss of Diana. So, yeah, I mean, still he would have functioned as a spare, even though William has 3 kids. But a lot of the heavy lifting that went on for the royal family, that would have normally required the heir to make these appearances, the very popular and charismatic Harry would actually go in place of, William. And William did not have to work as much. William barely worked. He barely worked. You guys know William barely worked. He was called work shy Will for a reason. He was, oh, by the way, Teresa McDougall, thank you so much for the super chat. He was just famous for doing the absolute least amount possible. And along with that, there was also the Duchess Doolittle, who was also notoriously lazy. Between the two of them, and goodness grief, I just read an article somewhere about their laziness, about how the both of them did the least. And you know who else is lazy? You guys know who else is lazy? Let me remind you. The other person that's really lazy in that family almost qualified for the Triple Crown. Okay, almost qualified for the Triple Crown. Lazy. And I didn't really think about it because I was always so glad that she wasn't around. But lazy. That is what's really going to impact this family, is that they said that if you tried to get Camilla to do things and she didn't want to do it, that she can be very testy and aggressive with you. And she does not like to work. And she does not like to present herself publicly. Well, that's no surprise, is it? Beautiful Day says, Baron, this announcement actually bolsters Prince Harry as the one who should be behind instead of Willie. Do you mean like the next in line for the throne? Because I mean, let's face it, Harry is he has the proper temperament for the role. He has the proper temperament. William, I'm afraid, lacks any type of ingenuity. He's not an innovator. He does not make the most of the platform that he has. As a matter of fact, he does the absolute least with what he has available. I mean, 40, both William and Kate are over 40, and they are only just now finding their voices with the platforms that they have. And even though they have such a very high exposure as the future king and queen, if you ask the average person to explain to you what it is they stand for, that would be really tough. Everybody identifies Harry with the military. Everyone identifies Meghan with empowering women. And of course, all the other philanthropy and volunteering and of course, goodwill that she's done. So that is their known commodity. That's what people know them for, is doing good. But I promise you, I think more people could articulate what it is that the Sussexes stand for than anyone else in that family. Well, save for Charles, of course, because Charles' mission has been very clear for a long time. He's given a lot of other people's money to other people, so there's that. Okay, and thank you very much. And Charles with his organic food and that kind of stuff, and of course his love of animals and nature. There's all those things going on. So he's known for that. Hey, Mo Shannon, Black Queen. Let me see here. Yes, I'm in agreement with that. Yes, you guys don't forget Sussex Squad timeline. Yes, let's take this day and identify some of those other channels that's in the fight. Now, let me tell you about Sussex Timeline. If you guys have a hunch about something and you want to better understand when, where, and how, all to do with Harry and Meghan, that's the whole point of Sussex Squad Timeline, is to keep a permanent record of the contributions of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Because, as you know, there's this mad attempt to try to rewrite history, to erase images of one person with another. Like, for instance, the Duchess of Sussex, you have some nitwit talking about the early years, trying to remove those iconic images of 18 months of royal duty and replace it with someone with the listing head and the hands flailing all over the place. That's the giveaway, of course, is that when you see that head laying on the shoulder or see them hands flailing about, then you know that's not Meghan. You know that's not Meghan. Lydia says, oh, yes, you guys, VS Speak is close to 4K. So again, we like those round numbers. So if you guys are, especially if you guys are watching these channels and you're not subscribing to those channels, I don't know why you wouldn't, because this is perfectly free to you. So do hop over and show some support. There it is. I'm gonna put it at the pop. Yeah, I'm gonna put it at the pop of the pat. Or see what I get for making fun of Barbara Walters. I'm gonna put it at the pop of the pat. I'm gonna put it at the top of the chat, not the pop of the pat. Uh, see what I get for making fun of Barbara Walters. I'm I'm want to wood it at the pop of the pat. I want to wood it at the pop of the pat. Yeah, see, that's what I get. That's my karma for making fun of Barbara Walters, who's not even here, and yet I'm so comfortable at making light of her troubles that she's had for years using the wars and W's. I mean, her wars and W's. So, oh boy, I tell you, I got to stop. I'm going to get in trouble. Um, anyway, thank you, Whittier Washington. Uh, it's hard to stop. You know what I mean? It is hard to stop. Catherine Reeves, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal. Oh, let me do that better. Royal Sussex, and happy Tuesday to you. Okay. I gotta stop doing that, Barbara. It's hard to, once I start, then it's hard to stop. You know what I mean? It's like I go into character and I can't pull it back. Shanti Robinson, yes, I heard that. That was very kind, wasn't it? That was very, very kind. And I have to say, I am like so it's like my Sunday ritual. I love the Lady Sussex and George and Charles. It kind of like centers my whole week. So you guys, that's again another Sussex friendly space. If you go to the community tab, I actually have the link there. It was like the second from the last thing I posted, I believe. But yeah, if you go to the community tab, you will find the link for Lady Sussex is called Cinderella. No, I'm sorry, Meghan Markle, Real Life Cinderella. So that is another one that you have available for those days. So, um, oh, let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Good. Well, thank you again, squad. See there? See how we take care of the Sussex squad? And by the way, you guys, I don't know if you heard this, but there was some deranger on Twitter that was challenging the Sussex squad's ability to fundraise. Can you believe that? Trying to make out like there was something nefarious going on with the Sussex squad and our ability to fundraise. They are just jealous. They are just jealous. You guys, we all watched in real time the way the Sussex squad has been able to follow Harry and Meghan into these various charities or foundations or whatever. And when we make our presence known, especially when we use the Sussex's name, there's no denying that it is a organic situation, not something contrived or seedy or something like that. Then you know that it is that is for real. I mean, I don't have the photo handy, but all those boxes that you guys sent to the Harvest home, and then of course, what is it? Just yesterday, I mentioned the bench that some squatties had put in Uvalde. Was that the squatties that did that? I think some squatties did the fundraising for that. So, how could you not feel good about everything that the squad has been able to do? Here it is right here. There it is. So that is for Uvalde. And of course, How about the time that Harry and Meghan um, matched the contribution of the Sussex squad dollar for dollar, right? And then, of course, look at how many people in the Sussex squad, even Anita from um, Duke and for my Duke and I think she just gave away a book. She had an extra book, so she had a book giveaway. So I mean, it's like a lot of people who couldn't get books were able to get books because of the Sussex Squad. So that's something to celebrate, even though the haters are trying to create some narrative. And yes, there has been some people. I know that there was one person in particular on Twitter who turned out to be very untrustworthy. But that's the work of the devil. We don't focus on that. We get to the bottom of it and regulate and move on. But yeah, there's always that rogue element. But by and large, I'm amazed, and I'm so grateful that that we've been able to do those things. So that's just very cool. All right, let me get back over here. And so take a look here. Now, this is Kate and William. Kate is like, what is she? Brigadier General, Rear Admiral? They gave her some kind of honorary title or something where Kate is what is she like the grenadier, what is it, Grenadier Guard, um um oh hell, I don't know what her title is, but anyway, so William seemed rather uncomfortable, as though he had to yield his authority to Kate for 5 minutes um, in a seated position for 5 minutes. And you can see the strain was getting to him. As a matter of fact, this aging couple that we see in front of us, they both look like they're suffering from the strain, but whatever. Um, this is the extent of William's military experience. And he's going to spend the rest of his life dressing up just like his father and everybody else in the family. And the real shame is that Harry, the person who really sacrificed for queen and country, is not allowed to wear his uniform anymore, not even for state occasions. So, as the world looks on, that's all I'll say is as the world looks on. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Uh, the constipated duo, yeah, they do look like. Constipation, constipation is making me wait. It's making me wait. Do I have a song for everything? Constipation, constipation is making me wait. Okay. And then here. All right. So you guys, I was almost lured into the dark side. Um oh really? Really? That is super, super nice. Thank you, Black Queen. Now see what I mean? See? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And guys, the it, worse than not even being able to have the book for other reasons. There were some people who couldn't get the book because it just wasn't available, because they were someplace else and they just were not able to get the book. And of course, as you all know, Lydia was very instrumental in making sure that a lot of people were not left out of the book giveaway. So, highly invaluable service, or is it valuable? Lydia Washington. So, thank you very much. And let's see, Sherry Ware, right? Let me see who else gave some books. I know I'm going to leave somebody out, but yeah, so that really did happen. Very, very cool. Let me see here. Harry was supposed to stay around until George turned 18 to 21, like Margaret. Remember, in The Crown, once Edward became of age, there was no use for Margaret causing her to drink and smoke more. Yes, Antoinette Kennedy, that part of The Crown haunts me. Now, of course, there's no way in the world that any of us could have been in the room when that happened. But I think that the depiction of that situation was pretty accurate. And what's even worse is that, according to The Crown, the Queen could not confront Margaret herself. She had a courtier in the room with them. And that is likely very true, because look at what happened with Harry at the Sandringham Summit. Harry could not speak directly to his grandmother, or not even his father or his brother, because number one, his father was sitting up there taking the side of other people, and his brother was frothing at the mouth and getting all agitated and stuff, like he was about to fly across the table. His grandmother didn't say anything, and the courtiers were there. So there is no reason to believe that what was depicted in The Crown was not absolutely true. If that's how the Queen handled things when she was younger, chances are when she got older, it wasn't any better. That, oh, we got to have the courtiers in on it. Where's the men in gray suit? I need to talk to someone about something. That is just very, very sad. But I think it is super, super true. Thank you so much, Antoinette Kennedy, for that comment. Very sad, though. Rosalind Gatewood says, Baron, all of the royal roader and royal family members are surprised and fully aware that the Sussex squad exists. They actually put us in their news reports. They don't know how large our group is. Yeah, that is the one thing. That is the one thing that they could not have anticipated. And I'm sure that it is like the fly in the ointment for them. It is like the thorn in their toe or whatever, splinter in their toe. Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, that's one of those things that they probably could have never imagined, and yet here we are. And it probably irks them so much, and I'm sure that some people want to believe that there's some kind of conspiracy or something, that the Sussex squad. I mean, that one time I was accused of being Meghan Markle by Thomas Markle. So, yeah, that's the real thing. It's very, very real. So, let me see here. As a matter of fact, why don't I? Is that it? Yes, there it is.
Thomas, I wanted to ask you about these vile individuals who refer to themselves as the Sussex Squad.
So I come to my dad's house and start going through it, and I look on YouTube, and my God, I see the Sussex Squad and the Royal Sussex page on YouTube. and the things they post. And that's where I found that disgusting video making fun of my father just because he's going to the Jubilee. I mean, and if you look on the Royal Sussex page on YouTube, you're going to see exactly whose it is. It's definitely Meghan Markle. And if it's not her personally, she's definitely paying somebody to do it.
Yes, so at least I know Thomas Markle watches. That much is for sure. Anyway, thank you very much for the comment, Rosin Gatewood. I better shake a tail feather because I'm getting myself behind here. Yep. So, and my God, I look on it. I'm at my dad's house and I'm going through what, Thomas? What are you going through? I mean, what business is there for you in your dad's house while he's convalescing, allegedly? What is there for you to go through? That's ominous sounding, isn't it? So I was at my dad's house and I'm going, and my God, there's the Royal Sussex and the Sussex squad. And those vile, vicious, just because my dad's going to the Jubilee. Yeah, not. And my God, boy, I tell you, he overacted that part, didn't he? So anyway, where was I? Okay, so Meghan Markle showed empowerment by buying her own 110,000 pound wedding dress, unlike Kate. Meghan Markle spent 110,000 pounds on her infamous wedding dress to her 2018 wedding to Prince Harry, whereas Kate's parents footed the bill for her 250. Good God, she paid $250,000 for that gown in 2011. So the thing is, there was someone who actually had the caucasity to post the image of Meghan, saying that with the cost of living crisis and such, and anyway, said that Meghan spent 400,000 pounds on her dress. When the reality is it was Kate that spent more money. And you could tell, of course, it was a deranger because their default setting was, oh, let me call out Meghan for being extravagant. Back in 2018, I don't even know why that's a thing right now. So anyway, and you guys, I don't respond to people on Twitter. I really don't. I post or repost, but I don't respond. I don't get into the battles on Twitter, and deliberately so. I just don't. And I was almost compelled to say something, or I was compelled to throw some of my favorite photos out there, but I said, no, pull it back. But these two images right here, those are actually from some squaddies that did go into the battlefield with that person. But it's interesting and disturbing, but it's also very interesting. Occasionally, when I see the haters pop up, I do go and look at some of the stuff that they have, and it's just like when someone accuses me of being so rude and crude for some of the stuff I say, you ought to see some of the things that they do. I mean, right down to Moon Baby and all the conspiracies. And then you see that they follow the royal reporters. You know, you got to investigate. They all follow the royal reporters. I won't even say which reporters, but trust me, they follow the royal reporters. And it is very disgusting and shameful, some of the accusations that they have made. I mean, there's no levity to it. It's just hate and hostility, and false accusations. False. I mean, no truth to it at all. And you know, but what I did notice though is that occasionally you'll still hear someone on one of those panels on television that will make a reference to the Sussexes selling out their brand in a commercial kind of way. But it just sounds so desperate and stupid when you hear that, because they have not done that. They have not done that. They're not selling milk in China. They're not selling tea biscuits and gin and stuff like that. They haven't done any of those things. Meghan invested in a woman owned a company that makes oat milk products, which is healthy, and it is a business founded by a woman entrepreneur. I mean, what's more noble than that? But it's not like Meghan is the face of the brand. So they haven't gone commercial. They've told their story briefly on a few occasions, whereas the royal family has been briefing against them from day one. If they want the Sussexes to stop talking about their pain, to stop speaking of the trouble that they've had with that family, then stop briefing. They have to stop briefing. And the central point of every conversation, in my opinion, is the briefing. It all goes back to the briefing. If the royal family would stop spoon feeding the tabloid media talking points, locations, and of course, rather questionable facts and figures, if they would stop doing that, like Harry said, we didn't say anything for a year, and they kept briefing against us. And then when we do say something to set the record straight, then of course, here comes the Meghan is a bully. They didn't know what the Sussexes were going to say. So just to make sure that they were ready to defend themselves, the royal family, the institution, they put it out there before Oprah even came on. They're investigating Meghan for being a bully. I mean, based on her reputation, with all the people that she's known that they've already tried to pay for various things, if you couldn't get them to attack her for stuff that did not happen before, what makes you think that you're going to find someone to collaborate with you on this talking point? And it was just a big lie. It was just a big lie. But I tell you, if you're in a situation where someone has given license to the staff, to the courtiers or whomever, to challenge you for everything you say, like for instance, if you're supposed to borrow a tiara that you really didn't want, but somehow they insist that you should have it, and then they won't bring it to you, and the person responsible for it, even though she's a subordinate, she just flat out decides, I'm not doing it. I'll do it when I'm ready to. And it was a delay. And the only reason why that happened is because someone higher up in the institution gave the signal that that was okay. And that's why that happened. And so if Harry got loud, if Harry yelled into a phone, whatever happened, it would not have happened if you would have just given them the tiara when they asked for it. But to try to drag everything out, whether it's the Queen's dresser or Mumbles or whoever it is, it seemed like it was an orchestrated plan amongst the courtiers and other family members to make things as dreadful and impossible in any way they could, right up until the point of even trying to get Meghan to go to Mexico before the wedding. That didn't work. We won't give her the tiara. That didn't work. We're not going to let our kids go and get measured for their clothes. That didn't work. And in spite of everything they tried, Meghan showed up on the wedding day, pleasant, smiling, and self-assured. And I'm pretty sure that for everyone who tried to tear that union down, that must have been a very disappointing morning when Harry and Meghan showed up and gave them the most iconic wedding since Princess Diana walked down the aisle of St. Paul's Cathedral. The most iconic. Other than that, there is no real big iconic weddings for that family. Just those two. Everything else, well, only half of Diana's wedding was amazing. The other half, I can't stand the sight of it. And of course, Harry and Meghan. Nobody remembers what happened with Will and Kate's wedding. Nobody speaks of their wedding. There was nothing interesting about it. Oh, I forgot. They brought trees inside of the Westminster Abbey. I forgot about that. Other than that, what was interesting? Nothing. Not a thing. Nada. That's got to be frustrating for them. That's got to sting. Okay, so there you have. I'm going to share a few things from Robert Jobson. Pathetically trying to distract from the Liverpool boobalee. Now, if you guys remember, William was booed like crazy at the Jubilee. And Robert Jobson, whatever happened to that Buckingham Palace investigation into the Duchess of Sussex allegedly bullying royal staff? You know how he grunts all the time. Whatever happened to the palace investigation? Really? Really, Robert Jobson? Really, I can't catch my breath to save my life, Robert Jobson? That's what you had in that moment? And this just came out of nowhere. For those of you that don't remember, this just came out of nowhere. This was a way to try to put out the fire of William being booed. Because, let me tell you something. When William walked out of that stadium, he was in tears. He was crying. He was crying like a little you-know-what. He was crying like a little Girl Scout that skinned her knee, crying when he walked out of that stadium. There was one player that refused to shake his hand, and that's the future king. So anybody that thinks that Charles is the one in trouble and that William is the right choice and is going to have an easy go of it, think again. William is no better off. He's no better off. People do not like William, and they only tolerate Kate because she's a mute woman. That's it. But they only tolerate William. William is not the answer. He's not the cure, which is why a lot of people are saying that there may not be another coronation as big as this. There will be a royal family. I'll concede that. There will be a royal family. But this may be the last big coronation. And I saw David Starkey. Is it Starkey? I saw David Starkey, you know, that very pompous biographer or writer, whatever he does, David Starkey, you know, the one that says, and Britain has been around for 1,000 years, for 1,000 years. And I mean, he gets so worked up. He gets so worked up about that stuff. And he was in a panic. He said that they're not managing the coronation well. In other words, he's a historian. Thank you, Pam Porter. David Starkey said that they are not explaining the importance of the coronation. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but he said that they were not explaining the importance of it. But the thing is, how do you explain, how do you justify something like this during a cost of living crisis? 73% of the people say they're not interested. So just before the coronation, with weeks to go, only a few weeks to go, the answer is a Robert Jobson book, where Robert Jobson is going to put out all of these, I'm not even sure what to call it, lies, innuendos, alleged occurrences, whatever you want to call it, in that book. A book about Charles. The book is about Charles, which lets you know that this book was orchestrated, or they may have drafted something new into the book as a response to Harry's book. So Robert Jobson is essentially responding on behalf of the institution, and it's not the first time. I mean, look at that over there. That is one of his tweets. Whatever happened to the Buckingham Palace investigation into the Duchess of Sussex allegedly bullying the staff? Where did that come from? Who asked you? Who asked you in the first place? I mean, that just came out of the blue. And they got so much mileage out of Meghan's a bully. Every time something happened that they were trying to distract from, here comes Meghan as a bully. I remember that time they said, well, we're going to put these allegations on the shelf and and that came out of the blue. I forgot what they were trying to distract from, but that was from out of the blue. And so when you think you've heard the last of it, here comes Robert Jobson. Prince William has a notably short fuse in private and can sometimes be difficult to handle, a royal author has claimed. Journalist Robert Jobson writes that the Duke of Cambridge can be a bit of a shouter and his temper can blow up at any time. Now, notice this ain't in the book about Charles. We're only talking about Harry got loud and has a temper, right? Well, something that you never really see anywhere. Harry is the one who has spoken about Harry's temper. But when the future king is frustrated or when there's an issue concerns his family, insider reportedly claim even William's senior aides will check which way the wind is blowing before asserting themselves around him or broaching subjects that may be problematic. So what happened to incandescent with rage William? You mean to tell me with everything, and mind you, of course, I won't touch that book, but you mean to tell me with everything that is being serialized from that book as we speak in the Daily Fail, there's no mention of hothead William? There's no mention of William's temperament? Because every time, and this is what I learned from Henry VIII. If you guys watch Henry VIII channel, Henry VIII said every time they want to big a man up, every time they want to stroke their ego, that's my words, but she said, yeah, every time they want to big a man up, the first thing that they do is to say that they're angry and that they're furious and that they're incandescent with rage. And as they say, only a frightened dog really is the only dogs that bark. They don't bark because they're aggressive. They bark because they're afraid. William is afraid. He's afraid because Harry will not be there to support him. And by himself, he's a big failure. Now, you know how they say behind every great man, there's a great woman. Well, you got two lazy people that have absolutely zero intellectual curiosity about anything besides their own pathetic lives, their own gilded, caged, selfish lives. That's all they care about. So with that, how effective are they going to be when the time comes? Charles went to Germany and spoke German. The Queen went to France and spoke French. William went to Wales and read something off a piece of paper. And I don't know whether he said, "Thank you so much for inviting me," or "Can you please pick up my dry cleaning?" Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people were just like, "Dry cleaning? Who understood what he said?" Probably nobody. That's how much Welsh. As a matter of fact, Charles can speak Welsh. Charles went through the trouble. At least his father had the intellectual curiosity. At least he had the forethought of learning the language. William, not so much. I mean, he barely gets through English. His wife needs subtitles. But that's the future of the monarchy. That's the future of the monarchy. It's no wonder they're angry with Harry. How will they ever survive? I'm sure, as the world, let's face it, as society goes, most of the society is kind of dumbing down. The US, all over the world, things are kind of dumbing down. People don't ask for much anymore because society as a whole has been conditioned not to ask for much. And so that will feed right into the Cambridges because they're not capable of much. I mean, right there, these are the two people who will be the next generation. Well, the next king and queen. It's a little typo from the Twitter. People will have to bow and curtsy to them. They won't have to work. Their kids won't have to work. They will have gold carriages paid for by us. Can anyone tell me what's special about Prince William and Kate Middleton? How much time you got? How much time you got? Because you really have to dig. Because the five things about the early years and is it the early years, what shapes us, or is it the five questions? Because it's evolved, hasn't it? It started with five questions. It took 10 years to come up with five questions. And then recently that turned into the early years. And then the early years has turned into shape of us. So which is it? And what does it mean? What does any of that mean? It sounds like a big word salad. What does any of that mean?
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
You do what? What do you do? What? They ask you about fulfilling the role and the shadow of Princess Diana, and her answer is,
well, obviously it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
You do what? What do you do? Good God. What do you do? And to whom do you do it? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right, Connie. Anytime something like that happens, then somebody is probably having an emergency.
Police! 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 Help! Police!
yeah, anytime something like that happens, somebody is obviously having an emergency. And you know what? I don't care nothing about them. I promise you I don't. But I'm just so frustrated that they are being upheld and uplifted and that they are the reason that the Sussexes had to leave. They walked into Westminster Abbey the last time that the Sussexes had any official function as husband and wife serving Her Majesty the Queen, and both of them walked in and would not even speak to him. Would not even speak. The only one who spoke to them was Uncle Pennywise. And then you got, don't even get me started with Sophie Wessex cutting her eye like she ain't had no sense. Two of the most mediocre, insignificant, unable people are going to inherit a fortune with all the power. And this is why people leave. This is why people leave. Because when you go to work, like that one from Jamie Oliver, when she found out, when she got close enough, when she saw behind the curtain and saw what she had to work with, what was her response? Nope. Nope. That was her response. With all of the staff, all the professionals, image consultants, a glam team and glam squad and all that, and you can't do anything with them. Number one, they don't want to work. They're not interested in doing that work. Neither one of them. They're not even interested. And you can't make them interested. You cannot trick them into doing better than what they're doing. Lazy, selfish, worthless. That's the future. And the two people, and I'm so glad Harry and Meghan left. I remember for a time I felt really bad about it, but I'm so glad because they would have been doing all the work. They would have been bringing people into that institution, making them look good and being treated poorly at the same time. So thank God they left. As they say, sometimes God will do for you what you cannot do for yourself. So thank goodness they left. So that way they don't get crapped on by two of the most worthless royals in all creation. I'm glad they left. I am really glad. Could you imagine having to walk behind them? Knowing that with everything that they have to support them, they still cannot do the work and are not interested. They don't want to do any better. They don't want to do anything better. They're not trying to improve anything. Corona Raina says, Baron, I just kept the headline, the Prince and Princess of Wales to split in my head if it comes true. You know, they deserve each other, and I hope they're stuck with each other forever. I do. I hope they're stuck to each other. I want them to be all over each other like a cheap suit. Threadbare, faded, misshapen. That's what I want for them, just to be stuck together. They deserve each other. I was told personally and categorically by the senior aide to the Duke when millions of public money was spent on KP and apartment 1A for the Cambridges that KP would be their base when William became heir to the throne. Is that now changing with the move to Berkshire? Now, Berkshire, I think that's Anmer Hall, right? Because I know that I think they were at, so 1A, that was Margaret's old apartment, right? Margaret had the largest apartment at Kensington Palace. And then there was a family living at Anmer Hall, and they were evicted. They were evicted. Longtime tenants were evicted because William wanted to be close to his friends in the country. So the Queen evicted them. And then, of course, having sunk a fortune into apartment 1A, then they spent another, what was it, $2 million or something on the, or £2 million on the driveway of Admiral Hall, plus other upgrades. And who paid for it? The taxpayers. And if there was a couple, to be fair, there was a couple of stories. And as you can see, what's his name? Robert Jobson. Oh, no, okay, it wasn't Berkshire. That must be Adelaide Cottage, right? As you can see, Robert Jobson, sometimes he drags them. He drags them. But he also, I believe, anytime Robert Jobson says stuff like this, that he's actually briefing against them for Charles. Stuff that Charles doesn't want to say, or stuff that perhaps Camilla is trying to orchestrate. I believe that's when Robert Jobson starts briefing against other members of the family. Because remember, they don't talk directly to each other. They communicate through their staff, and they communicate by briefing against one another in the papers. And yes, I do believe Charles and Camilla briefed against William. I believe that the Queen briefed against William because they quoted the Queen as saying that he was lazy. No, actually, I take that back. The Queen said that Kate was lazy. She didn't say anything about William. The Queen declared that Kate was lazy, and they kept running that story. And the fact that the palace never complained about it lets you know that it was likely true. And then over here, Robert Jobson is criticizing the Sussexes' Instagram. Harry and Meghan Markle loses 700,000 Instagram followers. Well, stupid. Harry and Meghan do not even use their Instagram. Harry and Meghan at that point hadn't been on Instagram for what, a year, 2 years, whatever it was. So yeah, maybe they don't have as many followers. Those are people that, for whatever reason, are not on. But they had all those, what was it? I forgot how many million followers. And then, of course, they said that the Cambridges were buying subscribers for their Instagram, because whatever the Sussexes had, so let's say the Sussexes had 11 million subscribers, then the Cambridges would always have almost a round even number more. Like if they had 12, then the Cambridges had 13. If the Sussexes had 13, then the Cambridges had 14. So they always stayed a step ahead. And the accusation, I cannot substantiate, I don't know if it's true, but they said allegedly that the Cambridges, or someone on their behalf, was buying subscribers for their Instagram. So there you go. Lorna Williams says, what's that picture behind Jobson and Chucky? Oh, let me go back and take a look. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It looks like an outdoor scene. The women have the big hats and parasols, so it looks like something around the Georgian era, like Downton Abbey time, back in like Titanic time, that kind of period. That's what it looks like. It looks like pre-World War I, maybe. But thanks for asking. That is a good question. And thank you for the super chat. So, as you can see, okay, thank you. Berkshire is Adelaide Cottage. Admiral Hall is Norfolk. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I was looking at the date. I'm like, no, that can't be, because they've been in Admiral Hall for quite some time. So Berkshire is Adelaide Cottage and Admiral Hall is Norfolk. Gee, who else lives in Norfolk, Karen? Who else lives out there? Could it be that slender person that was in that photo with Kate the other day? The one in the background that I didn't, or I pretend like I didn't notice until y'all told me, is that? And I said, oh, where? I didn't notice. Yeah, I think they live out there. Lord Chumley and the Marquise and Marquise and Marcisha and all that. I think all of them live out there. One big happy family with children that look remarkably like they belong to someone else. With children that look like they come from a whole nother family, they do. But you didn't hear me say that. Let me see here. I'm trying to think. Do I have a photo? Do I have a photo of that? I don't think so. I was trying to see if I had that photo from the other day. There it is right there. There it is. Now, is that one of their neighbors out there in Norfolk? Is that one of their neighbors from Norfolk? I'm just asking for a friend because that looks like one of the neighbors. Yes, that looked like one of the neighbors back there. How you doing? That looks like one of the neighbors. A neighbor, a friend, a confidant, and perhaps the future queen, maybe. A neighbor, a friend, and a future confidant, and dare I say, a future queen. Hello. Hello. Okay, so right here. Nope, not that one. Let me go on. So take a look right here. Now, on the left side, in 1996, the New York Times, and you guys know how I feel about the New York Times. I'm a little disappointed with this, but the New York Times, they were not above creating a story or misrepresenting the truth. Princess Diana decided that Princes William and Harry would go uncircumcised, right? Said that back in 1996. And all those years, people assumed that that was the truth. You know, anybody who was paying attention, of course. And then, of course, in 2023 with Spare, there were countless stories and books and papers, even the New York Times, Harry said, about Willie and I not being circumcised. And then if you go down there, mommy, you know what I mean? Not down there, but if you read, you know what I mean? Mommy had forbidden it. They all said, and while it was absolutely true that the chance of getting that frostbite situation he was talking about is much greater if you're not circumcised, all of the stories were false. I was nipped as a baby. So there you have it. Harry actually corrected the New York Times. And then there on the right side, notice the author of that book. It is none other than Robert Jobson. Yes, Robert, I can't catch my breath, Jobson. Jobson wrote that book, Harry's War, the true story of Prince Harry's heroism in Afghanistan. He wrote that back in February of 2008. And there it says, subsequent reports revealed that the prince had killed up to 30 Taliban insurgents. Well, obviously that number was wrong, but of course, Robert Jobson reported it as though it was true. He said that, but then Harry and Spare said, so my number, 25, it wasn't a number that gave me any satisfaction, but neither was it a number that made me feel ashamed. So where did Robert Jobson get that from? Obviously, he didn't discuss it with Harry. Harry said that it is a matter of permanent record, but Robert Jobson just somehow pulled that out of his esophagus or something and came up with 30 or more. Yeah. Up to 30. Okay, up to 30. So, yeah, there you go. Harry had to correct a few people. which is why it is so much better to get this information in the biography, or I'm sorry, autobiography, than to have someone who is just a hanger on like Robert Jobson to kind of make up stuff as he goes along. It's a shame that he, on the eve of King Charles III's coronation, it's a shame that on the eve of the coronation, that instead of writing a book and presenting a book that would celebrate King Charles III's triumphant coronation, instead he wrote a book that's all about Harry. It's always Meghan and Harry, Harry and Meghan. If you want something to sell, obviously you have to throw Harry and Meghan in. So, okay. And then, of course, these are the countless books that was written about Prince Harry. None of them were authorized biographies. They just did what they wanted to do. Angela Levin, Robert Jobson, you name it, they all had something to say about Prince Harry. And of course, when Harry decides to tell his story, and by the way, out of all the books that you see there, there's only one cover that actually won an award, and that's the one for Spare. The other ones, they did not win any awards for those jackets or covers of the book. Unauthorized they may be, but they didn't win anything. Now, right here, this is fun, right? Dame Kelly Holmes gets invite to King Charles' coronation and reveals she hopes to see Prince Harry there too. What? Really? Yes, it's true. I will definitely be going to the former athlete tells me. I don't know what I'll be doing. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'll be doing yet, but I will be involved somehow. Speaking at a, oh Lord, girl, you going to the coronation and they're going to put you to work? That sounds scary. Speaking at the red carpet event in Mayfair, Dame Kelly, who is honorary colonel of the Royal Armored Corps Training Regiment, adds, "No one knows who does what at this stage, and I'm also a colonel in the Army." Oh, well, okay. So since she's a military person, then I thought they was about to have her scooping potato salad or something. I'm like, girl, don't go. Don't go. If you don't know what you're going to be doing, don't go. So she hopes to see Harry and Meghan at Westminster Abbey. It's not a battle. I don't know, she says, of the California-based couple possible attendance. It's up to the king and his son, so you would hope so. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that being there is such a great honor, but to enjoy it, you would rather see Harry and Meghan. I mean, let's face it. Who you gonna hang out with? Will and Kate? Will and Kate? I mean, William, he talks really fast, like he got a train to catch. And Kate, you got to have subtitles, so they're no fun. And you can't talk to Kate's Uncle Gary because that might get you in trouble. I would say, what does Uncle Gary have to offer? But for legal reasons, I can't say. Okay. Ministry of Propaganda. Are you guys ready for some messy? Hey, did I just see Anne? Anne, there you go. Duchess of Success. Anne is here. And it's a birthday? Miranda, whose birthday? Miranda Rios? Is that right? I'm missing everything over here. I'm sorry, you guys. Pauline Bergio, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy, what is it, Tuesday? Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it, shall we? Oh, and by the way, Pauline, thank you so much for being a member. Or did I say that? I think I did. All right, so here we go. Little people, big dreams. King Charles. Yes, they went there. And that's why I said BBC, Ministry of Propaganda. Okay, so this don't have anything to do with BBC. So maybe I'll get rid of the BBC, but it is definitely from the Ministry of Propaganda. So just in case your kids have not been totally indoctrinated with all this stuff about the coronation, there is a guidebook that will help plant the seeds of monarchy in your child's head. As a matter of fact, I thought that it was a learning experience just to find out that there's a such thing as coronation chicken.
Come on, Charles! Is that what they call the coronation chicken? The king who runs away?
Coronation chicken jokes there.
I'm sorry, I accidentally knocked my voice out. So, having just learned about coronation chicken, I thought we learned all that there is to know about the coronation. But no, they even have a book so that you can fill the children's heads with information about Charles and how important his coronation is, how he's going to wear a cape like he's about to pull a rabbit out of his hat or out of his crown. See, right here it says, when is the king's coronation? King's coronation is fast approaching on the 6th of May, 2023. Charles will be officially crowned King Charles III with a bank holiday celebration to boot. Why you should celebrate the king's coronation with your kids, huh? Whether you're a royalist or not. Oh, look at that. They're trying to appeal to the 73% of the people that don't give a rip. Whether you're a royalist or not, the crowning of a new king marks a key moment in history, and as such is certainly something to celebrate with your children. A day that they will remember in years to come. This milestone is something they may talk about with their own children when they grow up. Woo! A King's Coronation book or books about King Charles III can only help children understand what is happening on this momentous day, but can become a great keepsake or memento to record the event and pass down to their children when they're older. Whether you, I'm sorry, whether you're after a book about the king for babies and toddlers, good God, they're targeting babies and toddlers. A book, a sticker book, or even a lift the flap book to celebrate the king's coronation, we've got you covered. Lift the flaps. What flaps? Lift the flaps? I don't what is a lift the flap book? What flaps? Whose flaps are you lifting? You know what I'm saying? Lift the flaps. Does she have flaps? Does he have flaps? Whose flaps? I don't want to see his flaps. His flaps are probably, I don't know, his flaps might need penicillin. But whose flaps are you lifting? Anyway, so they want to indoctrinate the children with all of this royalist mumbo jumbo. Leg says, unless you are Prince Archie or Princess Lily, because no invites. Yeah, exactly. There you go. There you go. Thank you so much, Legs. So I'm wondering, will there be material in the book like, yes, but where are you actually from? Germany? Is that going to be in the book? Or will there be a portion of the book where they show how um, Uncle Willie and Grandpa Charlie got incandescent with rage when they read the book Spare? Or will there be a portion in the book about how Queen Consort Camilla was literally willing to carry Charles across the finish line? Or how about the part of the book where they show Charles too timid and too afraid to fulfill those very tiny, clunky, square heeled shoes that his mother once wore? Maybe that part of the book will help to inform the children. I don't know, but there's some other stuff that I thought of that they might put in the book to help people understand. I'm sorry, to help children understand. Like, how about maybe they could explain to the children why every hat that Camilla wears look like looks like Grover is hiding on top of her head. Now that is something the children would want to know. Like, Mama, Papa, why does the Queen Consort look like she have a Sesame Street character on top of her head? Why does her hat look stare at me? Huh, Mama? Huh, Papa? Woo! And of course, Shelly L says, Baron, people have to manually type the subtitles, so I don't see Kate getting help. Kate, she did like we turned up. We did look over, and that's it. That's why I'm here. It's amazing. Oh Lord. Well, it's always better to let cakes. Why did I just call her cakes? It's always better to let her speak for herself. Oh no, that's not it.
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, on to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
What? What? Woo! What? I don't understand. Talk about word salad. And the sad thing, Shelley, the sad thing is that's somebody who hung around the family for 10 years. And yet, when the moment came, that was the best she could possibly do. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the English Rose. Thank you so much, Shelley L. Oh, look at that. See, now I'm doing it. Did I miss this? Thank you again, Pauline Bergio. I'm sorry if I missed that the first time, but thank you very much for the super sticker. And nobody's typing that. Well, in between the words, you actually have a chance to go in the kitchen and get a soda and then come back and type The other thing that they might put in the book, perhaps the book will have an answer for the children, because all children want to know, Mama, Papa, why does the king's wife look like Ernest Borgnine? Why does the Queen look like Ernest Borgnine? Maybe they'll put that in the book. Mama, Papa, why does Her Majesty bear a striking resemblance to Ernest Borgnine? Huh, Mama? Huh, Papa? Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you hear me? Oh boy. Another thing that may be in the book, perhaps they'll try to figure out why Auntie Edward has the longest coat. Does Auntie Edward ever trip over her coat? Does Auntie Edward, does them or they, do they ever have a military uniform that fits? Why does only Auntie Edward have the, what color is that? Is that maroon? Is that, I don't even know what color that is. But yeah, why does only Auntie Edward have the cranberry military jacket or tunic? Huh? Huh, Papa? Huh, Mama? The other thing that they may have in that book is, Mama, Papa, why does Auntie Sophie, why does she wear a hat that looks like dog poo? Huh? Why does Auntie Sophie wear a hat that looks like someone handed her some dog poo? Well, let me see. We got to think of a name for the kid. Ian. No, Giles. Well, Giles. Perhaps Giles is because it was a bag of poop from the Queen, Giles. Oh, thank you, Papa. So, yeah, that is something. I'm trying to think of what's in that book. You know what I'm saying? And because I'm in a very messy mood, who better to speculate about what's in that book? Like, for instance, Mama, Papa, why does the Princess of Wales dress like the Jolly Green Giant? You know, Giles, that's a good question. I haven't the foggiest. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. Okay, Papa. I'm sure nobody can figure that one out. But, Papa, what's wrong with Auntie Katie's head? Why is her head always leaning to one side? Why does she always dip that head to the side when somebody, does she not understand the conversation? Is her head tired? Why is her head always leaning to one side? Huh, Papa? And Papa, what's wrong with Auntie Katie's hands? Why why is Princess Kate's hands always shaking all over the place? Is she a jazz singer? Is she a jazz dancer? Why does her hands do that? Is she nervous? Huh, Papa? Huh, Mama? Papa, can you hear me? Okay, one more. Is there something wrong with her head and her hands? What's wrong with her head and her hands? I know. This is just terrible. This is terrible. You guys, I have to stop. Enough is enough. Unless the book also answers the question about why does the Prince of Wales leave the house looking like a bottle of Mitchum deodorant? Huh, Papa? Could nobody have stopped him? Or what is it about pulled pork from Poland? Huh, Papa? Why? Why did they go all the way to Poland for a pulled pork sandwich? What's wrong with pulled pork in London? Why did they have to go all the way to Poland for a pulled pork sandwich? Okay, y'all, I'm done. Huh, Papa? What is it about the pulled pork sandwiches in Poland? Papa, Mama, why does the Prince and Princess of Wales show up at a food bank with no food? Huh? Why did they come all the way to the food bank in a 80,000-pound SUV with no food? Huh? Mama, Papa? Who does that? Huh, Mama, Papa? Who does that? Well, Giles, that's why the rich are rich, because they show up empty handed. Really, Mama, Papa, that doesn't seem fair. Well, life isn't fair. That's why they're the Prince and Princess of Wales. That's that. That's why they're the Prince and Princess of Wales, because they show up empty-handed, and that's how they roll. So I don't know, Giles, but life is not fair, and you might as well find out sooner rather than later. Gee, that doesn't seem fair, Papa. And then, of course, they have to say to the child, well, Giles, it's like this, son. Some people, they, oh man, this is just terrible, you guys. This is just absolutely dreadful, and I should be ashamed of myself. Oh man. Well, Giles, sometimes when people show up empty-handed, it's because they owe people a lot of money. That's why. Maybe the book will explain why they went on an all expense paid vacation to the Caribbean and came back in debt up to, what was it?
Prince, Trenchtown wants $245 billion. That's what Trenchtown wants. $345 billion. Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what Trenchtown wants. Yes. What do you mean?
Okay, I gotta stop because my face is hurting now. Did I just see? There we go. Leg says Church Nelly. Oh, that's for Church Nelly. It needs a brain. Oh, Sir Peg a lot. I hope you saw that, Church Nelly. And thank you, Legs. Okay, so I think that was it for the book. Oh, yes, Papa, Mama, why is Louis Armstrong at every state dinner? Huh, Mama? Huh, Papa? And why does he sound so funny? I see plates of gold, silver too. I took a fork and stuck it in my shoe, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The clouds look so pretty in the sky. I rode in the carriage. Kate squeezed my thigh. Charles handed me cash and some more silverware too. Camilla looked at me and said, now you know what to do. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. I tell you, I'm not even sure what today's Royal Sussex was about, but this happened. Newly painted gable wall mural in Boyne Square, Larne County atrium, making upcoming king's coronation. I'm sorry, it should be marking. Oh, yeah, it is. Marking upcoming king's coronation. So this looks rather interesting, right? Well, again, this is, I guess, is what, Northern Ireland? It says King Charles III. And let me show you what the small print says. It says, my mother never ceased to pray for the best times for Northern Ireland and its people. Now, some people seem to think that there is a grammatical error. Like up there at the top, you can see, yep, pure class. Just a shame no one attends GCSE English class. And I thought that was a quote coming from Charles, right? Isn't that the King's English, right? Isn't that the King's English now? And to be fair, I wouldn't have noticed, but yeah, I found a couple of the slides there where they seem to believe that there's a grammatical error. Northern Ireland and its people. Shouldn't it just be the people of Northern Ireland? Let me see. My mother never ceased to pray for the best times for the people of Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland and its people. That is kind of strange, isn't it? Anyway, some people in Northern Ireland, I actually went on some of their Twitter pages. Very interesting. You know what, guys? I'm starting to think that people in Ireland don't really like the English. Now, I'm sure there's some Protestants in Northern Ireland that identify with the English, but I think there's also some people in Northern Ireland, perhaps the Catholics, that don't really care for the English. Like, for instance, here, found this unedited version on the internet. Also, it's not a mural. Oh, this was from somebody in Northern Ireland. I'm like, God, they're almost as bad as I am. Isn't that a hoot? Who does such a thing? You guys, I did not do that. That was someone from Northern Ireland that posted that on the Twitter. I just merely retrieved the page to share with you guys because I share everything that I find fun, interesting, enlightening. But you got to love it. And then, of course, there's this one. Woman tells Kate Middleton Ireland belongs to the Irish during Belfast walkabout. Do you guys remember that? So, like I say, I'm starting to think that there's some people in Northern Ireland who don't really actually they weren't in Northern Ireland, were they? But anyway, they were just in like the Republic of Ireland. But either way, the lady they were in Belfast, so that's Northern Ireland. Yes, they were in Northern Ireland. And the lady told her that Ireland belongs to the Irish. Now get out of here. And the thing is, she recorded that conversation with her phone and shook her hand all at the same time while telling her that Ireland belongs to the Irish. And then someone on the Northern Ireland Twitter posted this image of Charles. I guess that's a commemorative mug. I don't know. And now I thought this was kind of shady. I thought that one was kind of shady. And I got to play this soundbite for you guys. I have to play this soundbite. You guys. Let me grab it. Let me see here. Somebody went there.
the more I just think this whole institution just needs to be done away with. It just perpetuates elitism, inequality, and I can't believe we're so differential in this country. That we're like, oh, yes, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Lots of people like it.
Belongs in storybooks.
Lots of people like it. Lots of people.
And if it brings you comfort, fine.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
why should everyone be expected to fund it?
No, in a very turbulent world, what you've just said is absolutely right. People draw comfort from the fact that we've got a royal family that raises above all the world's problems, raises above the political shenanigans in this country, and brings comfort and joy to people. Say, isn't it wonderful? That's us. We have it. We've got to preserve it. And as for bringing them out historically, Dan, I once saw the football that was used in the first FA Cup final at Wembley in 1923. Bolton Wanderers, I think, beat West Ham 2-0. The point is, that's only brought out for special occasions. But it's put away. We've got to preserve our history, and this is a magnificent part of our history.
I don't think it's magnificent at all. I actually think this is the stuff that we should be ashamed of. I mean, the more I learn, the more I just think this whole institution just needs to be done away with. It just perpetuates elitism, inequality, and I can't believe we're so differential in this country that we're like, oh, yes, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Lots of people like it.
Belongs in storybooks.
Lots of people like it.
Brings you comfort.
So, did you hear me play I played the beginning again. I want you to listen closely because she does this thing where she goes, oh. She was mocking the deference that some people are still, giving the royal family. So, listen closely to the beginning again where she goes, oh.
The more I learn, the more I just think this whole institution just needs to be done away with. It just perpetuates elitism, inequality, and I can't believe we're so differential in this country that we're like, oh, yes. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Lots of people like it.
Belongs in storybooks.
Lots of people like it. Lots of people.
And if it brings you comfort, fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Why should everyone be expected to fund it?
No, in a very turbulent world, what you've just said is absolutely right. People draw comfort from the fact that we've got a royal family that raises above all the world's problems, raises above the political.
I think that
I cannot believe Jeremy Vine's show. Some days, Jeremy Vine is going to be the reason why the royal family ceased to exist. I do believe that. It's not going to be anybody except for Jeremy Vine. Jeremy Vine is, every time there's like a sound bite where somebody really lets the royal family, lets the institution or the royalists, anytime that happens, it's always Jeremy Vine, except for that one occasion, and you know which one I'm talking about, that one occasion with Stacey, what is her name? Stacey Solomon. If you guys remember Stacey Solomon, she kind of went there herself. So, but I think it's going to be the Jeremy Vine show because sometimes they really let the cat out the bag, and I
don't get any of it.
What do you mean? You don't get what?
I don't get why we're so obsessed with these humans that are exactly the same. Like, it could be us four sitting there. I just don't get it.
But are you talking about what you mean as royals or as, like, Kim Kardashian? Because for me, they're becoming celebrities.
Well, to me, that's all they are.
The Queen
is their celebrities.
For me, is brilliant.
I love the Queen.
No, duty, responsibility.
She's always worked really hard,
but
hasn't
I would work hard if the whole country paid for me to have like 12 houses and work really hard.
They don't pay for all of the houses, but
just a few.
Yeah, I would work hard too if the whole country paid me to have like 12 houses. I love her. So right here, you have, this is like, okay. You guys remember this guy, right? This is, what is his name? Graham, whatever his name is. He is, I guess, the leader of the Republic movement, right? that group Republic. He's the leader. Well, right here, Graham says, media. Oh, let me pull that down because I can't see that. It says campaigners urge media outlets not to inflate coronation viewing figures. So, according to Graham, oh, there it is right there, Graham Smith. He says global viewing figures are always difficult to measure, but to suggest the coronation would attract even 500 million does not stand up to scrutiny. I'm calling on all journalists to ignore those inflated figures and accept that global viewing, that is, figures are hard to calculate, but what evidence there is points to figures below 300 million. So a republic is banking on about 300 million people, no more than that. Let me see here. Oh, give me 1 second, you guys. Sorry. Uh-oh. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, polls also showed a large majority, 73%, believe the royals should pay for some or all of the coronation, with 37% saying they should pay for the entire coronation and 36% saying that they should pay for the procession and ceremony, while the UK government should fund police and security. So I don't think that people understand that the bulk of the price is security, but there'll be other costs too. But I think that's the bulk of the expense is security. So there's that. And then to close out today, you guys, and by the way, you guys, if you got to get going, I am just about done here. But remember I told you about the AI? Can you guys name those very stout-looking women that you see on the screen? Remember I told you guys about the AI, how you can have these computer-generated images? Well, the one on the left side looks hauntingly familiar, right? And what about the one on the right? Do you guys recognize these old brothel? They look like a madam at one of those places of era fruit, as Archie Bunker would say. Do they look familiar to you at all? Come on, you guys. Yes. Let me see. I think Teresa McDougal is the only one that got them both. Yes, that is McConnell and Graham. Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, the Belle of the South. And then, of course, take a look there. Do you recognize those young ladies? If not, I think I can help you out. One of those ladies actually used to work for the Trump administration, And the other lady just got into a terrible fight with a mouse. The other one actually got into a terrible scrap with a mouse. I mean, that mouse beat her within an inch of her life. And yet somehow she managed to stand up. So, yep, sometimes they get their petticoats in an uproar. And take a look here. You have Anita Filibuster, Lady Graham Cracker, and Claretta Corrupta, and Cruzella DeVille. So, okay. That's Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham. Is that, I think it's Clarence Thomas, Claretta Corrupta, and then you have McCarthy, the White, what is it? The not White House, Speaker of the House, McCarthy. So yeah, so you guys, I haven't used the AI thing yet, but this is the fun stuff that people are making online. And again, if you say Mitch McConnell in a sequin dress with a black background, the computer will generate that image. If you put in Clarence Thomas on a cruise ship with a, then the computer does that. And they give you like a choice of the same image, but they're all a little different. And then you choose the one that you think is the most desirable. So with that, you guys, I think that was it. Oh, and someone did the Queen. I don't know if you guys saw this, but someone said they wanted a picture of the Queen with an afro. So that was computer generated as well. And one of the ways you can tell is because the skin always looks kind of weird, but that is also computer generated. Yep. So again, this is not an edited photo cut and paste in the traditional way. This was created by artificial intelligence. It will make whatever you ask. That's a computer generated interpretation of the Queen. And with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all so much for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you all so much for your generous contributions. Also, thank you, moderators, for always keeping this the safest place I could think of on all of social media. And yeah, that's it. I hope you guys had fun today. I got a lot of frustration out of my system. And yeah, it was fun. So thank you a lot. Love you guys. I'll be looking for the last word of the day, which looks like Afro Annie. Let me see here. Oh, good. I'm glad, Lydia. I'm glad you enjoyed today. And you guys, thank you for helping the other content creators reach those milestones. That is quite generous of you guys. And I really do appreciate it. And I'm sure they appreciate it too. So thank you for that. And let me see. Now, this is the best way to say goodbye to everyone. And this is so beautiful. You're going to just love it. Elaine Parker says, bye, everyone, wherever you are in the world. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Elaine Parker. And thank you, Sussex Squad. All right. And so, how did I almost forget that? Because we always have to remember our queens. There we go. All right. Our queen in California and our queen in heaven that we are going to remind people about on Archie's birthday. So we're going to celebrate Archie's birthday, and we're going to remind people what the true meaning of Coronation Day is. So thank you, everyone. And with that, I am going to cue the Ginger Avenger.